Have you ever wondered if the wild world, where the law of survival reigns supreme, holds stories of compassion that transcend all limits? Welcome to our channel, where we explore the extraordinary moments of nature and the profound lessons they offer. Today, I will take you to a place where untamed beauty conceals unimaginable wonders, the Maasai Mara National Reserve in Kenya. This is not just a story about one animal, but about an event that permanently changed how we perceive the relationship between species and between humans and nature. What happens when a peaceful morning suddenly turns into a fateful moment, challenging all our understanding of nature? On a bright, sunny morning on the vast green savanna of the Maasai Mara Reserve, the sunrise cast a honey-gold glow over the tall, head-high grasses. The air was fresh and cool, carrying the scent of damp earth and wildflowers, interspersed with the chirping of birds. Elias, a dedicated ranger with over 10 years of experience, was driving his familiar beige patrol vehicle. He had witnessed countless scenes here, from the great wildebeest migration to spectacular hunts by lions and leopards. Every day was a new story, but rarely did anything truly astonish him enough to completely change his perception of the natural world. Elias's career was intertwined with this land. He knew every nook and cranny, every wet and dry season, every habit of the animals. He believed he understood the unshakable laws of the savanna, the law of the strong, of harsh survival. Yet, on that particular morning, everything he believed was about to be shattered. His mind was running through his daily checklist of tasks, checking fences, noting elephant tracks, when a soft sound caught his ear. It was the sound of innocence, of childlike joy. The soft laughter and clumsy but enthusiastic movements of a baby gorilla playing at the edge of a small clump of trees. The little one was separated from its troop, perhaps exploring the world carefree, never having encountered danger. Its clear eyes sparkled with curiosity, and every wobbly step exuded an innocence that had never known fear. Elias smiled faintly. The scene was adorable, a simple slice of wildlife. He slowed the vehicle, wanting to stop for a moment to watch this tiny creature. But then, from a nearby bush, another movement caught his attention. A huge, dark-bodied African rock python silently slithered out. It moved as lightly as a shadow, making no sound. Elias felt a cold jolt run down his spine. He knew this snake well. Their silence was a harbinger of death. Before the baby gorilla could react, or perhaps even realize the danger approaching, its tender body was tightly coiled by the python's cold muscles. The innocent laughter vanished, replaced by a desperate, painful shriek. The gorilla struggled in vain, its panicked eyes wide open, searching for a glimmer of hope, a deliverance that seemed impossible. Elias held his breath, helplessly watching the horrifying scene unfold before his eyes. He had witnessed many deaths in nature, but this scene, with the innocence of the young and the brutality of the predator, carried an indescribable pain. Between life and death, what would make a predator change its instinct? The faint sounds of the struggle attracted the attention of another creature. A large male lion, its golden mane blazing under the sun, appeared from a distance. It approached, each majestic step resolute. Elias, still in his vehicle, was tense to the extreme. He envisioned the next bloody scenario. The lion would finish off the python, or worse, would consider the baby gorilla an easy meal. That was the instinct of a predator, and Elias was all too familiar with it. But then, something strange happened. The lion stopped, looking at the scene before it with hesitation. Its amber eyes did not gleam with the hunger of a predator. This was not prey. This was a weak creature struggling in agony, on the verge of death. Something in the baby gorilla's cries, in its despair, touched a deeper instinct within the lion. The hunting instinct, which Elias considered supreme, seemed to be overridden by something else, a strange and primal urge to protect. It was not compassion in the human sense, but some kind of primal connection that we find hard to explain. The lion approached closer, each step cautious. It did not growl, did not bare its fangs. With a movement unexpectedly gentle for such a powerful animal, it slowly gripped the baby gorilla's neck. Elias held his breath. Surely the creature was dead or would die from that bite. But no, the lion gripped the baby gorilla not to harm it, but to carry it away, to pull the little one out of the python's terrifying constriction. The python's grip was still very tight, but the lion patiently and slowly pulled the baby gorilla away from its imminent death. The python also seemed exhausted after its attack, loosening its grip for a moment. The lion walked decisively, carrying the python-wrapped baby gorilla towards the forest where Elias had just seen the large gorilla troop reside. This was incredible. Why would a predator take its prey to safety? This moment shattered every rule Elias had ever known about the wild. It forced him to ask, are there deeper layers of emotion, more complex instincts existing in the animal world that we have never fully understood? What motivated the lion to do this? Could it be that, even in the harshest environments, there is still room for compassion? The encounter between a lion and a silverback gorilla, the climax of conflict or the beginning of an unexpected understanding. Elias had now stopped his vehicle. From a distance, he watched with wide eyes as the unbelievable scene continued to unfold. The lion, still gently holding the python-wrapped baby gorilla in its mouth, walked directly towards a large silverback gorilla, clearly the troop leader. This silverback was a powerful male with a massive build and sharp eyes. It roared, a roar that echoed across the savannah, a roar signaling a bloody battle. The entire gorilla troop also panicked, ready to confront their natural enemy. The instinct to protect the troop, especially the young, surged powerfully. Elias prepared to witness a fight to the death between two of the savannah's most powerful animals. But then, the silverback gorilla stopped. It did not charge to attack. Its roar still echoed, but its gaze had changed. Its eyes looked at the lion, then shifted to the motionless baby gorilla lying in the enemy's mouth. Perhaps in that moment, it recognized something unusual. There was no aggression, no intention to attack from the lion. Only caution and a strange act, bringing its offspring back. The lion slowly placed the baby gorilla on the ground, as gently as possible. The python was still tightly coiled around the lower body of the small gorilla, but now it was motionless, seemingly exhausted after the struggle. That moment seemed to stretch endlessly. Time stood still. The lion backed away a few steps, maintaining a safe distance, as if waiting, as if returning this tiny creature to its family. And then, with a powerful jerk and an earth-shaking roar, the silverback gorilla pulled the constrictor off its young. It no longer cared about the python. All its focus was on its tiny offspring. It held the limp baby gorilla to its chest, gently rocking it. Elias felt a lump in his throat. He watched every tiny movement of the baby gorilla. Its small eyes slowly opened, still alive. A faint whimper escaped the little one. In that moment, in the wild savannah, there were no gunshots, no blood, no violent conflict. Only compassion from a lion, from a gorilla father, and from himself, a man who could only stand and watch, learning to understand. It transcended all concepts of the food chain, of survival instinct. It was a lesson in empathy, in the invisible connection between living beings. Who among us cannot tell a story of parental instinct? But what happens when that instinct is expressed unexpectedly, even by a natural adversary? Can an act of pure compassion redefine our understanding of animal behavior? The story of the lion and the baby gorilla sends shivers down our spines, but it also opens a new door in understanding the animal world. As a storyteller and also a researcher, I always look for scientific explanations behind these strange phenomena. So, what motivated the lion to perform this seemingly counterintuitive act? Although such interspecies rescue cases are extremely rare, they are not non-existent. Scientists, especially those who study animal behavior, ethology, have been and are still exploring the complex layers of their emotions and behaviors. Some theories suggest that animals with highly developed nervous systems, particularly those with complex social structures, may possess a form of primitive empathy. This is not necessarily empathy in the human sense, with the ability to consciously put oneself in another's shoes and share emotions. Instead, it could be an instinctive response to the distress or danger of another living being, especially a weak young one. Some studies indicate that carnivorous animals sometimes exhibit strange altruistic behavior, especially towards the young of other species, if they do not perceive a threat or are not hungry. Perhaps the baby gorilla's desperate cries triggered some protective response in the lion, perhaps an unconscious association with its own cubs, or simply a glitch in a usual hunting response sequence. Furthermore, the shared habitat of species in Maasai Mara, where species frequently encounter each other, whether as rivals or prey, could also create more complex interactions than we imagine. There are numerous documented cases of wild animals adopting young of other species, or even protecting them from predators. This suggests that, in addition to survival instincts, there may exist emotional circuits or special behavioral patterns activated by external factors. This challenges the traditional notion of the strong eat the weak and opens up a new perspective. But the natural world is not only brutal, but also contains moments of extraordinary connection and compassion. We are gradually realizing that the animal world is not as simple as we once thought. They possess cognitive and emotional abilities that science is still striving to decipher. If compassion can exist in a wild lion, what does that say about our own potential? As Elias watched the baby gorilla nestled safely in its father's arms, a strong surge of emotion ran through him. There were no gunshots, no bloodshed, no conflict, only empathy, understanding, from a lion, from a gorilla father, and from himself, a man who could only stand and watch and learn to understand. That moment permanently changed his perception of the relationship between wild species and, more broadly, between humans and nature. This story is not just a record of a strange event. It is a powerful reminder that compassion, connection, and the ability to share are not exclusive privileges of humankind. They exist everywhere, in every form, if we are subtle enough to perceive them. In a world sometimes filled with division and conflict, this story offers a gentle but profound solution. The ability to connect based on understanding, not violence or fear. It shows us that even natural enemies can find common ground in protecting life. The lesson from the Maasai Mara savannah that day was invaluable. It teaches us that, in life, we don't need gunshots or bloodshed to solve problems. Sometimes, all we need is an open heart, a perspective that goes beyond preconceptions, and a will to protect life, no matter whose life or what species it may be. Like Elias, we can learn to step back, observe, and embrace unexpected lessons from the world around us. If you're captivated by this journey and want to explore more stories that shift perceptions of the natural world, subscribe to our channel so you don't miss our next videos. We are always looking for extraordinary moments and profound lessons from wildlife. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments below. What does this story evoke in you?